The heat of the late afternoon sun soaked everything it touched. The trees, the river, the sticky air itself. It was the kind of day that lulled you into a false sense of security, where the world felt too warm, too soft, too safe. Noah, a curious and adventurous 12-year-old, trudged along the muddy riverbank, his sneakers sinking slightly with every step. His parents sat a few yards away, unpacking lunch from a worn-out cooler, their laughter blending with the sounds of buzzing insects and distant bird calls. Noah's heart raced with the thrill of discovery. The wetlands seemed endless, mysterious, a secret world where he could be the explorer, the hero of his own story. Just one more stone to skip, he thought, scanning the ground. He crouched low, his fingers brushing the cold, flat surface of a perfect skipping stone. He weighed it in his hand, feeling its smoothness. Then, in one careless move, he edged closer to the water to get the perfect angle. The mud beneath his feet, slick from the humid air and morning rains, betrayed him. Without warning, the earth gave way. The world tilted. Noah barely had time to scream before he plunged into the river. The shock of the cold water knocked the air from his lungs, turning his panic into raw survival instinct. He surfaced once, just once, coughing and spluttering, his arms thrashing wildly. "Mom! Dad!" he tried to yell, but the current dragged him away before the sound could even leave his throat. The river, lazy on the surface, was a silent predator underneath, pulling, twisting, hiding its true strength. Noah fought to keep his head above water. The muddy current blurred his vision. Every breath burned. His mind screamed, "This isn't supposed to happen. I'm just a kid. I can't die here. I can't." And just when it felt like he would slip under forever, a pair of small, dark eyes watched from the tall grasses. From the tall reeds at the river's edge, a pair of gentle, intelligent eyes locked onto the struggling boy. The creature moved closer, almost gliding through the shallow water, its presence silent, almost ghostly. It was a capybara, the largest rodent in the world, but to Noah it looked more like a strange, calm guardian from a dream. The capybara's sleek brown fur glistened under the sun, droplets sliding down its body like tiny crystals. This particular capybara wasn't like the others. Locals had seen her before, nicknamed her Maya, the river spirit, a rare creature that always seemed to show up where she was needed most. Some said she had saved drowning ducklings, guided lost puppies to shore, whispered legends for those who believed, and now she saw Noah, fighting, failing, slipping into the clutch of the river. Maya's ears twitched, her nose flared, catching the scent of fear and desperation. There was no hesitation, no fear, no instinct to flee. Something deep inside her, ancient, wild, and pure, pushed her forward. The capybara plunged into the deeper water, her strong, webbed feet kicking powerfully beneath the surface. Each stroke was purposeful, each movement steady and sure. Noah barely noticed her at first. His arms were heavy, his vision blurred, and the world spun wildly around him. But then, through the chaos, he felt a soft bump against his side. Turned his head weakly and blinked through the water. There she was, a brown, breathing life raft, warm, real, solid. Maya nudged him gently at first, then harder, encouraging him to cling to her. In the midst of the panic, Noah's trembling fingers gripped the coarse fur along Maya's back. His body, half submerged, half clinging, found a fragile balance. The capybara didn't panic under the added weight. She simply turned toward the shore, her muscles working, her spirit unshaken. And for the first time since he fell in, Noah allowed a sliver of hope to break through the terror. He thought. Hang on. Maya paddled fiercely, her small yet powerful body slicing through the current. Noah clung desperately to her, the roughness of her fur grounding him against the chaos that raged around them. Every wave felt like a fist trying to tear him away. Every pull of the river was a voice whispering, "Give up, you're too small, too weak." But he didn't let go. And Maya, she didn't stop. The capybara's body bobbed and dipped in the water, but her movements were unwavering. Her heart pounded against her ribs, instinct and determination fusing into one unstoppable drive. The river was no longer just a river. It became a battleground. Debris rushed past them, broken branches, clumps of mud, even a half-submerged higher. At one point, a sudden current ripped at Noah's legs, dragging him underwater for a terrifying second. Panic exploded in his chest. The world turned black. But before fear could swallow him completely, he felt Maya twist under him, her body lifting him back toward the surface. She stayed steady, anchoring him like a living buoy. On the riverbank, chaos erupted. Noah's parents had noticed. His mother screamed his name, her voice cracking into 1,000 shards in the humid air. His father sprinted along the bank, calling out, frantically searching for an opening, some way to help. "Hold on, baby. Hold on. Don't you dare let go." Tears blurred their vision, but through it all, they saw it. That strange, unbelievable sight. Their son, clutching the back of a wild capybara, fighting his way back to life. Every stroke Maya took brought them closer to the muddy banks, but the river fought harder. It pulled, twisted, thrashed, like a living monster refusing to give up its prize. Noah, exhausted beyond anything he had ever known, felt his grip weaken. "I can't," he thought desperately. "I'm too tired." Maya, sensing the slackening hold, made a low grunting sound. Urgent, firm. It vibrated through Noah's hands like a command. "Don't you dare give up now!" With every last shred of strength, Noah tightened his grip. The shore was close now. So close he could smell the wet earth, hear his parents' desperate voices slicing through the noise. And then, with one final push, one last heroic effort, Maya surged toward the shallows. Noah's feet scraped the bottom. Hands reached out. Strong, shaking hands. Grabbing, pulling, lifting. Maya stayed by his side the whole way, her body trembling but her eyes calm. Noah collapsed into his parents' arms, sobbing, coughing, alive. He turned to look back at the creature who had saved him. But Maya had already begun to wade back into the reeds, her job done. She didn't need thanks. She didn't need applause. She had simply seen a soul in need and answered. Noah lay curled in his mother's arms, his small body trembling not just from cold, but from the weight of what had just happened. His father's hands cradled his soaked face, whispering broken words of comfort through sobs he could barely contain. All around them the river raged on, wild, untamed, as if mocking their fragile little victory. But Noah's eyes weren't on the river anymore. They searched the waterline desperately, until he found her. Maya, standing half-submerged at the edge of the reeds, water dripping from her fur. She watched him with those same deep, soulful eyes. Not moving, not running, just watching. For a fleeting second, time seemed to freeze. The world, the screaming river, the crying parents, the chaos, all melted away. It was just a boy and the creature that had chosen, against all odds, to save him. Noah, weak and shivering, raised one trembling hand toward her. A silent thank you. A bond spoken not in words, but in heartbeats. Maya's little nose twitched. Then, without fanfare, without drama, she slowly turned and disappeared into the dense green, her figure swallowed by the wild. Gone, leaving behind nothing but muddy paw prints on the riverbank. And a story so unbelievable, so impossibly pure, that no one who witnessed it would ever forget. That night, under a blanket of stars, Noah's parents tucked him safely into bed. They kissed his forehead 1,000 times, whispering promises they weren't sure they could keep. "You're safe now, nothing bad will ever happen again." But Noah, he stared out the window toward the darkness beyond. He knew the truth. Out there, hidden among the reeds, the rivers, the forgotten places, there were still silent guardians. Beings of pure heart and wild soul. Like Maya, not every hero wears a cape. Some have fur, a beating heart, and an unbreakable spirit. And sometime they save you without ever asking for anything in return.